From January to June of this year, there were 181 shootings in Toronto, up 20% from the same period of time in 2017. And there's been 234 victims, up 4% from last year as well. Now, the flow of guns into our streets has been plaguing authorities for decades. Just steps from where those bullet holes pierced the fence in the Scarborough community. You can see here there's an area where kids will play hopscotch. You've got an area for Foursquared, a basketball net, and of course the playground where two young sisters were shot by stray bullets last night. Now, today I sat down with a reformed gang leader. He says the number of guns likely coming into Toronto every year or two is in the thousands.
Feel the bullet right here. There's the entry room.
Oh, the bullet's still in there.
Still in there.
Wow, and that's the entry room right there?
Yeah. This happened when I was maybe, what, 17, 18?
What were you doing the day you were shot?
Oh, boy. I don't really want to talk about that. It was a bad day. But obviously I was engaged in criminal activity.
Through the 90s, Marcell Wilson, who everyone knows as Junior, was a gang member in the west end of Toronto, known as Swanty Mews on the doorstep of Parkdale. He rose to be a top-level leader with a crew known as the Looney Tunes. In the 2000s, he worked for organized crime syndicates that to this day he will not name. When it comes to guns, Junior says his gang brought hundreds into the streets of Toronto from south of the border, and they trade Canadian drugs for American steel. You said the majority of times it was the Americans coming up here with the guns.
Mm-hmm.
You guys would trade the drugs.
Yep.
They'd go back with the drugs. You guys got your guns.
That's pretty much how it worked.
Similar still today?
I would say so. How else would it work?
In the first 3 months of 2018, 132 handguns were seized on the streets of Toronto, up 65% from the same time last year. Police also pulled 121 shotguns and rifles off the streets, up 41% from 2017.
I don't see the popularity dying down. I don't believe we'll turn like the Americans were, like, automatic rifles, because they're harder to access. But if we had access, I believe that would be the gun of choice.
And when someone does have a weapon like that, something that is of an automatic capability, that's a closely guarded gun, I would imagine.
Oh, it's gold, absolutely, because it gives you power.
Junior refers to himself as a former. He now works with other formers with the Against Violence Extremism Network, part of a group of grassroots organizations battling hate and extremism. Junior now travels the world and talks to extremists, gang members, even child soldiers. The guns are are they hidden in certain places around neighborhoods, under the trash can, under the car? Is there, are they placed in certain spots should you need a weapon?
Okay, I speak again for me and my community at the time. That's exactly how we did it. They're the community weapons, right? We had our personal weapons, but then there was community weapons where they were set up strategically so that if something happened, anyone could have easy access.
Junior adds the current state of gun culture plaguing our city is worse than anything he could have ever imagined, even at the height of his time at the top of the game.
A lot of the work I do now is based on trying to redeem retribution of some of that, of some of my responsibility in what's happening now. I feel personally responsible for some of it.
Junior adds that the careless nature in which civilians are being shot today shows that there's no organized structure to the street gangs of modern-day Toronto. He also says one way that we could fix the problem is reopening and adding to child services in at-risk communities, things like community centers, after-school programs. He says they might sound small, but they would have a big impact.